She had always lived in the background of other people's success. Her name was Angela, a 48-year-old single mother who worked long shifts as a cleaning lady in one of the city's tallest skyscrapers. Every evening, when the sun dipped below the skyline and the offices emptied, Angela would slip in with her cart, broom, and mop. No one greeted her, no one asked about her day. She was simply part of the silence after the chaos. Angela didn't complain. She had learned to accept invisibility as part of survival. For her, the job was about more than just pay. It was about keeping food on the table and sending her youngest son through school. She carried herself with quiet dignity, moving through boardrooms where million-dollar deals were struck, though no one ever thought to look at her. But Angela noticed everything. She had sharp eyes, the kind that picked up details others missed. A coffee stain on a desk, papers left behind, the half-finished glass of water in the corner of a meeting room. Her work made her a silent observer of lives far different from her own. And it was in one of those rooms, late one night, that her watchful eyes caught something far more serious than a stain or forgotten trash. Something no one else had seen. Something that made her pause, her heart heavy with unease. Angela first noticed it on a Tuesday evening. The building was unusually quiet, and the CEO, Mr. Richardson, had been working late again. She entered the boardroom carefully, expecting to find the usual, half-empty coffee cups, papers scattered across the polished table. But instead, she saw him sitting alone, staring at his laptop with a strange stillness. At first, she thought he was just tired. After all, the man was known for his relentless work ethic. People said he hadn't taken a vacation in years. But then she noticed the way his right hand trembled as he tried to hold his pen, how his speech faltered slightly when he answered a phone call. It was subtle, so subtle that his own staff must have brushed it off. But Angela knew what she saw. The following nights, the signs became clearer. She'd find uneaten meals left on his desk, water glasses barely touched, and once she even caught him gripping the edge of the table, his face pale as if he might collapse. The cleaning lady inside her wanted to keep moving, pretend it wasn't her concern. But the mother inside her, the woman who had cared for her own sick husband until the very end, couldn't ignore it. Angela's mind raced. Should I say something? What if I'm wrong? What if he thinks I'm out of line? She was just a cleaning lady. People didn't take her seriously. Still, the nagging voice inside her grew louder with each passing day. She recognized the symptoms, the shortness of breath, the fatigue, the trembling hands. Her late husband had shown the same signs before his diagnosis. Then, one Friday evening, the situation took a terrifying turn. Angela was wiping down the hallway outside the CEO's office when she heard a loud thud. Rushing inside, she found Mr. Richardson slumped over his desk, struggling to breathe, his skin clammy and gray. In that moment, instinct took over. She dropped her supplies, ran to his side, and called emergency services while doing her best to keep him conscious. Her voice shook, but her hands were steady as she followed the operator's instructions. When the paramedics finally arrived, they confirmed what Angela had feared. The Millionaire CEO had been ignoring the warning signs of a serious heart condition. If she hadn't been there, he might not have survived the night. The hospital room was silent, except for the steady beeping of machines. Mr. Richardson lay on the bed, pale and exhausted, his eyes fluttering open as Angela stood awkwardly in the corner. She hadn't planned to follow the ambulance, but something in her heart told her she couldn't just walk away. When the doctor entered, the truth finally came out. The CEO had been living with a dangerous heart condition that had gone unnoticed for months. Stress, overwork, and denial had pushed him to the edge. If she hadn't acted when she did, the doctor said, pointing at Angela, you wouldn't be here today. Mr. Richardson turned his head slowly, his gaze falling on the woman he had barely noticed in his own building. For the first time, his voice carried something other than authority. It carried humility. "You saved my life." Angela lowered her eyes, unsure how to respond. She wasn't used to being the center of attention, let alone gratitude from a man whose name was printed on the glass doors of the skyscraper she cleaned every night. But in that moment, a powerful truth settled between them. Titles, wealth, status, all of it meant nothing compared to the simple courage of someone who cared enough to act. In the days that followed, Angela returned to her routine, quietly pushing her cart through the same hallways, emptying the same trash bins, wiping down the same windows. But everything had changed. Word had spread through the building about what she had done, though Angela tried to brush it off, insisting she had only done what anyone would have. Deep down, however, she knew most people would have looked the other way. Mr. Richardson didn't forget. After his release from the hospital, he called an emergency staff meeting. His employees were shocked when he began by telling them that their cleaning lady had saved his life. The man, who was always too busy for small talk, stood before his company and spoke with a trembling voice about humility, gratitude, and the importance of noticing people often ignored. "She may have been hired to clean these floors," he said, "but last week she reminded me what truly matters in life." Angela sat in the back of the room, tears in her eyes, as applause filled the space. For the first time, she wasn't invisible. She wasn't just a shadow sweeping through empty rooms. She was seen, respected, and valued. From that day on, Mr. Richardson made changes, not just in his own life, but in his company's culture. Workloads were adjusted, health programs were introduced, and a new fund was created to support employees in times of crisis. And at the center of it all was Angela, the woman whose quiet courage had sparked it. For her, the recognition was never about money or status. It was about something far deeper, proving that every life, no matter how overlooked, has the power to save another. And sometimes, the greatest heroes are found in the places no one thinks to look.